They're certainly going to need it. I think it's going to be a difficult year for the Lions. They have been bitten by the injury bug again, but you've got to go forward. Steve Mariucci got it done in San Francisco, not instantly, but by his third year, he had a winning team there, and you hope that he'll be able to make the same kind of turnaround here in the Motor City.
Well, you're really drawn to him, and you really feel that he's giving you the honest effort. He's a credible coach. He's a professional guy. He's attention to detail. He's exciting. He's got a real charismatic personality that you're just drawn to him. You think he's going to do it, and you're pulling for him, and you're excited, and that's what you want. You want to be fired up about your professional football team, and I think an awful lot of Michiganders are very excited about the prospects of the Detroit Lions.
Of course, they no longer play here. They play down the road in Ford Field in downtown Detroit. But this is still a facility with an awful lot of history behind it and an awful lot of tradition, and that's one of the reasons why you see Dave Greenwood there along with the rest of the St. Christopher Cyclones, because those kids, even on the other side of the border in Sarnia, Ontario, were thrilled to be able to have a chance to come out here to play.
Well, that's one of his great recruiting tools when he goes up and down the halls of his high school is, hey, how would you like to play in the Silverdome next year? And can you put the hockey stick down just for a couple of months and come out and play with this funny-looking, odd-shaped ball, and let's go have some fun. But he seems like a great guy, and he's struggling a little bit today, but I think they're going to come back, and they're going to have a fine football team before the season's over.
Put away the pucks, pick up the pigskin. It's football time. And Chris Greenwood with a strong kick all the way back to the 10-yard line. It'll be returned from there by Washington, and he is then dumped at about the 25.
And Quentin T. made a beeline to go backwards there when he saw all the white shirts coming at him and tried to find some running room, and it just didn't work for him. But you're right, that was outstanding kickoff by Chris Greenwood. And he's doing a lot of things. He's the punter, he's the kicker, he's the quarterback, and he probably helps carry the towels and the equipment to practice as well.
Well, Dave, I love football, and I'm thrilled to be able to be here. I know that these players are eager to get out there, and we'll see what the second half has in store for us. 11:20 to play in the third quarter as Trinity will take over on their own 25-yard line. Robert Cornelius under center. And he'll hand off to Lumpkin. Big hole. Nice cut at the 30. Lumpkin gets to the outside. He's got a block there. Lumpkin across midfield. And he runs into Flamia, who finally wrestles him down all the way out at the 45-yard line. But not before D'Angelo Lumpkin is able to carry the football 40 yards.
Well, that was outstanding run by D'Angelo Lumpkin. And we see a penalty on the play. We're going to see a replay of that. Look at that. Nice shift. Break the tackle. Bust for the sideline. Good speed. Getting some blocking out in front, and then I don't know if we got a clip in there or just what, but there is a penalty flag on the play, and we are backing up, Trinity Catholic backing up.
There you see a nice move by Lumpkin, and then here, I'm lowering that shoulder. Flamia keeps his balance and wrestles him out of bounds.
Oh, Lamia makes a nice arm tackle, gets him out of bounds, and the other thing you didn't see at the end of the play, didn't see D'Angelo Lumpkin getting up and making any gestures. I think point well taken from Coach Sahadi, and he listened to his coach.
So after the penalty is walked off for the illegal block, it's still a first down as Trinity pushes it out to their own 44-yard line. And the handoff to Chambers. Chambers breaks through an arm tackle. Chambers lumbering forward down to the 39 before Flamia finally dumps him there.
Boy, when your safety's making most of the tackles like Vince Flamia is, you're in trouble. And boy, that was some just great, outstanding power running there. I'll tell you what, Therese Chambers, you don't see him carry many times in this game because of the running back you have in Lumpkin, but Chambers can carry the ball too. Look at that, just busting that tackle and change of direction. And, boy, he's not going to go down easy. Pretty powerful kid.
This time they'll give it back to Lumpkin. Lumpkin breaks a couple of tackles. Lumpkin into the open field. No one will catch him. Touchdown, Trinity.
Just great play, and he's not going to make any big signs or anything like that. He's just happy. He hands the ball to the official. Great burst by Lumpkin. Touchdown, Trinity Catholic.
Lumpkin with touchdown runs of 20 and 11 yards in the first half, had 7 carries for 92 yards in the first half. I'm not sure how that run with a penalty will be counted towards his stats, but with that 39-yard scamper, clearly now over the century mark.
Okay, we have our third kicker.
I think they're going back to Ostrowski.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, you're right. We'll see if we can get one of these placements down and the kick.
And you're never going to know because they're taking too much time.
Well, that snap was back. It was a real floater. By the time it got back there, there was a host of white shirts back there. So you definitely have an area of concern to work on, Coach Zahedi. And there it is, working on that extra point.
St. Christopher will try to regroup and see if they can get things turned around here in the second half. Let's take a look first at the big gainer coming up by Chambers.
Boy, nice blocks. Nice blocks. Oh, that was the Chambers play there, right.
And then he gets it to the 39. Then Lumpkin is able to take it in from there. And there you get a look at D'Angelo Lumpkin. 3 touchdowns on the day.
Now you can cheese a little bit for us there. Good smile there. Nice job, Lumpkin. Outstanding back. You're going to hear a lot about him, JJ, this season. I'm telling you, that's a good back right there.
Well put together at 5'10", 182 pounds. He's a senior. There is a lot of experience on this Trinity Catholic squad. Team that did make the playoffs last year went 7-3. And they'd like to make a return trip to the postseason.
Well, obviously, every team is gunning for that state championship team, but I think you got to put Trinity up there as certainly a contender in their division because they've got some real athletes.
Bain, nice cutback move, gets across the 40 and will be out to the 42-yard line. Well, you saw there, Ostrowski teed it up that time. He's got plenty of leg. They're just going to have to quicken the timing on those extra points, but Ostrowski will have no trouble getting that one through the uprights. Good field position for St. Christopher, and you hope that maybe they'll be fresh now coming out after halftime. They never did go into the locker room. They just stayed on the field, but maybe they'll be able to get something going offensively.
Got the tackle by Tracy McIntyre there by Trinity Catholic. Got to get the props there for a nice tackle in the middle of the field there.
And there's a fumble. It's picked up by Trinity. Sprinting the other way is Gauss. He stumbles, stays on his feet, and he will score.
Boy, that was just a exchange at the center quarterback position. The ball came up. Gauss got it. That's his second touchdown. He was the one that made that great reception in the end zone there, so that's 2 touchdowns for him. Celebrating, pretty excited. Boy, when it rains, it pours for St. Christopher, and there it is. Pick it up off the AstroTurf and make a beeline.
And he
great
almost
balance.
Goes down.
Great balance. With a convoy coming in, feeling real good, and boy, everything's going right for Trinity Catholic.
And Ostrowski gets it up. Oh, it is wide right.
Boy, I'll tell you, they're struggling on that, but they're not struggling on much else, JJ. That's pretty powerful performance in every area but the extra point PATs for Trinity Catholic.
And you can see there's a little
that's
daylight in there.
Great film work, guys. There's about 3.5 inches between that knee and the ground. I think tremendous film work, guys. And there's Gauze over there being celebrating with a little drink of Gatorade and turn around, get that camera shot. There you go. Yep.
Take another look at the entire package. 39 yards on the fumble recovery and return by Jamal Gauze.
Yeah. Boy, he's got great size at 6'4", 220. Look at him stride.
And there
great
you see
balance.
Flamia got him, hit him, but Gauze kept his balance, and nobody chased him down from behind.
Boy, at the skill positions, I mean, I think you just go right down the line. The offensive backs, the quarterbacks, the receivers, the cornerbacks, the different skill position people for Trinity are just unbelievable. Real athletes.
Bain bouncing off tacklers, gets across the 40, out across the 45, and gets near midfield. I'll tell you what, you have to admire the effort that has been present consistently from St. Christopher, despite the fact that they now trail 38-0 on the scoreboard. There you see a kid in Andrew Bain who's playing both ways and playing special teams and giving you everything he's got.
He's giving you everything he's got, and he's there's no quit in him. I think he's probably double digits in tackles because he's back there making an awful lot of them in the secondary there, as well as Vince Flamia and Chris Greenwood. And no, they're playing their hearts out.
And they've got an NFL Wilson football up there. How about that? Kids get to play with the pro pigskin. Pitch to Bain, and even though he just toted it a moment ago, he's not tired at all. He'll take it around right end for a 6-yard carry. Now with the score at 38-0 under Michigan high school rules, and if they are using those, despite the fact that there's a Canadian team involved, that means there will be primarily a running clock as long as the margin remains in excess of 35 points. So unless St. Christopher puts it in the end zone, there will be a running clock except on changes of possession.
Well, we'll see that the next stoppage of play, JJ, to see if they're going by the American rules, because that's an interesting question. But as you mentioned, Bain, another hard run there. Looks like Chris Greenwood was going to do a little keeper there, but just was not able to get any running room whatsoever on that nice push by the defensive line of Trinity.
But this is going to be a huge asset for St. Christopher when they return back across the border. George Zahedi looking up and down the sidelines, finding out, okay, who do I have? We're going to make sure everybody plays today.
And we're going to find somebody who can kick an extra point, right, George? No, he'll work that one out.
But St. Christopher now having the benefit of this game and then not playing a Canadian game on their schedule for another 3 weeks, they're going to have 3 weeks to be able to use this as a teaching tool as Flammy is able to take it on the counter and pick up a first down.
Oh, that was a nice game, but yeah, as you mentioned, and with the DVDs that are going to be available at the end of this game for all of you actually to purchase as well as a tape, he'll be able to play by play, be able to, with that DVD, be able to pull up any play that he would like to really teach and show these kids, and what a teaching tool. And as you said, 3 weeks before his first game, they're going to learn and grow an awful lot from this game.
Flamia picked up 8 yards on that last carry, so that's a first down. And they'll give it to him again. Stutter steps and sprawls forward for about 2 yards. Chambers coming up from the bottom of the pile. Got some assistance by Nick Jones that time along the defensive line for Trinity.
Another misdirection, just trying to pop that play to try to bust it open and get a little daylight. And every yard's difficult for St. Christopher, but as you said, they're battling.
Inside 6 minutes to play in the third quarter now. Trinity has had some success running the football when they've gone to the air. Robert Cornelius has been pretty effective as well. He's 4 of 7 passing for 59 yards, including a touchdown. St. Christopher, they just haven't been able to get much going offensively, and that one won't go either, as that play was just destroyed by James Wilson.
Well, James Wilson just caught the count and went right on the snap count, and hopefully we get another look at that. Look at him go, boom! Just destroyed the quarterback before he actually had a chance to take a step. He was in the backfield. That's just great defensive linebacker play, and outstanding. And there's another player. James Wilson is 235, 6'1", and a senior, and there'll be recruiters looking at him as well.
3rd and 13 coming up for St. Christopher. They are in Trinity territory at the 40-yard line. Greenwood delayed handoff to Bain, and he is wrestled down after a short gain. Looked like Jamal Goss was able to come in and grab a hold of him.
It's difficult in a situation. I think you were getting to that point here, JJ, when you have such a small roster. As a coach right now, you're in a position with a 38-0 lead, and you really would like to, as they say, call off the dogs and bring in your second and third string players. But with only a roster of 22, 23 players, it's difficult to take the pressure and the heat off. You can't tell your players not to play.
And Trinity is playing well. They tried to give it to De Silva on the end around on 4th down, and he could never get to the outside. He'll lose a couple, and Trinity will take over on downs. And right now, all the momentum is there. It's a sparse crowd that has traveled from the Harper Woods area to come see the Lancers play, but they have certainly enjoyed what they have witnessed here through the first 3 and almost going on 3 full quarters now.
That was another good play by James Wilson, and you know that crowd's going to grow as this team steamrolls through the season. You know, they call that the bandwagon effect, JJ. There's going to be more and more every game, I would think, because this is a team that's going somewhere.
And they'll make room. And looks like we have a change at quarterback. And we have a change of possession, perhaps, as the ball comes loose. That was Anthony Howard in at quarterback, and there was a problem with the exchange, and St. Christopher recovers.
You mean Anthony, don't call me Mo Howard? Yeah, but that was a little exchange. They actually, Trinity got a break on the play. Was it?
St. Christopher recovered.
St. Christopher did get it. I saw number 45 for St. Christopher, Chris Boyle. It squirted out of his hands and back into the big pile. I thought Trinity had gotten it, but big break for St. Christopher.
So they will take over in great field position.
We'll take a look at that again. We'll see if it was in the exchange from the quarterback to the running back right there. Looked like he put it right in the stomach.
Hand off to Bain now, as Bain able to get some running room, and he's running hard.
Boy,
able to pick up the first down and then some.
Real hard running and a nice push. St. Christopher, and that seemed to inspire them to get that turnover, and great hard running by Bain. We've called his name a lot, and he's a strong, tough kid, tough runner.
That's the biggest gain of the day for St. Christopher, a 17-yard pickup by Andrew Bain. They've got it all the way down to the 24-yard line now. Chris Greenwood under center, and he is just buried behind the line as there's 3 blue shirts that get there. Give part of that tackle to James Wilson, part of it to Lonnie Petway, and the biggest part of it to Antonio Hinton, just because he's the biggest body.
Boy, I'll tell you what a push by the defensive line, and it's like they know the snap count, and it's just like they're pinning their ears back and just roaring right through, and maybe a little fatigue is setting in on that conditioning factor that we talked about earlier. St. Christopher's, that offensive line is looking pretty tired.
And that's going to be particularly true when you haven't had much practice time, because not only are you building skill, you're also building wind.
Absolutely.
As you're having that practice time throughout the season. Greenwood rolling to his right, firing deep, and it is knocked away. Nice attempt made by Randy De Silva to come back to the football, but he couldn't quite slide underneath it.
Yeah, he did. He had a nice break to the ball, but looked like Therese Chambers was in the middle of that too. A little mix, a little scrum out there, knocking it around, and no penalties on the play. Both receiver and defender have an equal right to the ball. Ball was thrown pretty well and actually had an opportunity to be caught.
And they will let the final seconds of the third quarter tick away. Again, that running clock in effect. And so the third quarter comes to a close with Trinity Catholic on top over St. Christopher from Sarnia, 38-0. One more quarter of football still to come here at the Pontiac Silverdome in the 23rd annual Prep Kickoff Classic.
Well, St. Christopher's got their farthest penetration, obviously, of the game, and so I'm looking at this as a golden opportunity for them to put some points on the board, and they're over there talking to their coach right now, and trying to get some points on the board. In a game like this, as we talked to Coach Greenwood before, let's take a look at a couple of the Trinity kids kind of smiling, feeling pretty good about themselves. Coach Greenwood's over there really working his team, want to get some points on the board. He said he wanted to be competitive today. He wanted to stay injury-free, and he just wanted to keep the progress going so that he'd be ready for his season. He sees this as an opportunity. There he is. He's going to send him out to play.
And I think he gets credit for knowing what he needed to work on. The things that he was worried about were tackling, because they hadn't had practice time, and the speed of Trinity, and he was right on both fronts. Now, it's unfortunate in that it's been borne out to a 38-0 deficit, but it shows the coaching staff was at least able to identify what they needed to work on, and so that will bode well as they're now able to use this game and work on improving this team for their Canadian season in a few weeks.
And that'll be a stepping stone for him. I didn't mention this earlier. One of his players, he did lose to an illness just before the season. Mason McCarthy, a 6-foot, 210-pound tight end that he had counted on heavily, lost for the season. So that's an unfortunate break for him.
Greenwood is being chased. He fumbles the football, and it looks as though St. Christopher will recover. That was Jamal Gauze coming from the outside, and with the designed rollout, Greenwood couldn't see him coming from the backside. Gauze causing the fumble. St. Christopher able to pounce on it, but it's now going to be 4th and forever coming up for the Cyclones. Great pursuit by Gauze, and nice recovery by St. Christopher.
Well, Jamal Gauze has made a lot of impact in this game in all kinds of ways. As you remember, he picked up the fumble for the touchdown. He caught a touchdown pass, and, here he is, making a blitz and making a great play and forcing St. Christopher's to punt when they were in scoring position.
And a bit of a low snap, but Greenwood gets it away, and he'll angle it towards the sidelines. Goes out of bounds right at about the 11 or 12. We'll see where they spot it.
That was an outstanding coffin corner kick there by Chris Greenwood. And as we mentioned, he's playing cornerback, he's playing quarterback, he's the punter, he's the kicker, and he's the coach's son. So he's got to, not only does he have to go to practice and listen to the coach, he's got to listen to the coach across the kitchen table. That's probably worse.
And now he gets a seat on the bench to recover at least momentarily.
He's rubbing that those floor burns that you get on that AstroTurf. He looks like he's got one on his knee that probably scraped pretty raw right there. That's the one thing, the area they talk about. Cover your elbows and make sure your knee pads don't slip up, because you can really get some burns on this carpet.
Trinity has it backed up at their own 11-yard line. And on the handoff, some running room out across the 15. As we've got some fresh faces in there. That was Tracy McIntyre on the carry.
Well, I'm sure Coach Sahady is really trying to temper this down, and he sure doesn't want to pass the ball, and he's not going to have his number one quarterback in. I would presume not very much more. And this is where as a coach you've accomplished everything you need. You got a good start to the season. There's not many coaches in this state that are going to try to rub somebody's nose in it when they're up by this score. And as we know, Coach Sahady is a class act coach.
They'll give it to Fry this time, and Fry with a couple of nice moves. Fry into the open field, and Flamy will finally throw him down. But that's a huge gain right there of close to 40 yards.
Boy, and Lance Caldwell just had an outstanding block. If we get a replay on that out in front, but a great run. But then that Lance Caldwell block just flattened that cornerback. If we get that.
Get a look there at the run by Fry and the tackle by Flamia. Yeah. Now we'll get it from a wider angle.
Nice run.
And that was the previous play by McIntyre. And so even when they change personnel, Trinity Catholic finding success on the field. As now McIntyre comes through. And he's going to pick up another 8 or 9 more yards. And again, there's not a whole lot of players on either sideline. And so while Trinity has some new players in, they're fresh going against a tired St. Christopher squad.
Well, Coach Sahady is doing what he can by pulling his quarterback out, and you're right. He really can't change too many positions, and you really can't tell your team not to perform. Now, you would not want to do that. It's a difficult situation to be in as a coach. You really would like to, not rub it in, but it's difficult not, and your kids are going to play hard.
And off to McIntyre again. Finds another soft spot off the right side, then cuts it back inside, gets all the way down to the 25-yard line.
And Coach Greenwood knows that from St. Christopher's, obviously, and he knows that they're not trying to run the score up on him, and he realizes the situation he's in. But as you said, this is a tremendous tool for him. He's got something on tape or on DVD to look at. He's got 3 weeks to prepare for his season. I don't think he's going to see too many teams this good over in his league. I'm making an assumption there, but I think this will be the toughest opponent he'll play all year. So, I think this should do a lot of help, and just as he said, keep his team healthy, and learn from this, and be able to progress off of it, and use it as a building block, a stepping stone onto the rest of his season.
And it is a long-held coaching axiom that you make the most progress between the first game and the second game.
Right.
That's going to be especially true for St. Christopher because they've got more than 3 weeks between the first game and the second game.
Right, and sometimes when you're trying to explain something to a young athlete, sometimes they have to learn it by actually doing it. And when you get thumped a little bit, you get a little more humble.
And once again, you see Andrew Bain making a play, tackle behind the line as he dumps McIntyre. I'll tell you what, you've had players like Bain and Flammy and De Silva and all those guys who just, they've got to go both ways. You know that they've got to be dog-tired. Their lungs are burning, but They're not about to relent, give up any less effort, or expect anything less from their teammates.
Well, I've been impressed with that fact. There's just no quit in this team. They're battling, and they're going to scratch till the end of the game, and that's a credit to Coach Greenwood and his staff and the kids that they have out there.
Third down coming up now, and Howard will keep it himself, running around the left side, and then he is slung out of bounds by Matt Perry, short of the first down.
Got a player down. Looks like Vince Flamia, maybe just tired, kind of pulling himself up slow. Boy, you sure don't want to see an injury at any time in the game, but certainly not in the last 5 minutes and 31 seconds. And Coach Greenwood, as we said, just who he wanted experience, he wanted to be competitive, and he wanted to be injury-free and work to get to a season. And so he's crossing his fingers for the last. We know all about the injury bug. Just talk to the Detroit Lions, huh?
4th and 1. Trinity will go for it. And off to McIntyre. He's got lots of room. McIntyre at the 10. Cuts inside. McIntyre has the touchdown for the moment.
Boy, there was a flag thrown over in the direction of Lonnie Petaway. I don't know if we had an illegal block or a clip. I'm not sure, but that was the direction. I think this play's coming back.
There were flags flying from every direction, and so that means the penalty was normally pretty obvious. We'll take another look at it here. And you can see right away he made the push and then tried to pull the hands back.
Yeah, hands in the cookie jar deal, huh? Let's just see right there. And that's a good call there, JJ. Yeah, I did it, but I didn't do it, huh?
I didn't mean to do it, honest.
Yeah.
Lonnie Petway already with an interception in this football game where he was able to take it down to just inches short of the opposite end zone from the direction in which the Lancers are now headed. With the penalty that is now backed up the Lancers to the 15. They'll give it to McIntyre again, and this time, that's Fry on the carry, and he will go into the end zone unimpeded. Touchdown, Trinity.
Well, they've got some terrific speed, in that backfield, and I'll tell you what, once he blew by, it was over. And Greg Fry for a backup tailback. There's a lot of teams in the state would love to have that backup tailback as their number one.
Take another look at it here. And you can see that's just great blocking. We haven't said enough about the job done up front by Trinity. The starters on the line today from left to right, we'll go from outside in, I guess, as the extra point goes through for Trinity, and that gets a round of applause along the near sideline. But the starting offensive lineman for Trinity today, at tight end we had Hinton, and then Ahmad Gauze, James Wilson, Maurice Wilson, Curtis Petway, and Sean Reitzel. They've done a great job blocking up front.
And right on cue, Sean Reitzel is the one that made that successful PAT, and getting some real good congratulations from his teammates there, because that's the area where they wanted to really work. We got a little shot of Sean right there. He doesn't get the mug for the cameras very much, but great offensive blocking from him the whole game, and then successful PAT. Nice job, Sean.
Clock stops momentarily after the score with 4:41
Here we go again.
to
We got
play.
Sean again. We got the front shot. Worked real hard on that offensive line. You're right, JJ. You just don't say enough about your offensive line, but those are the guys in the trenches that determine what happens in that ball game. They're the equivalent of the basketball rebounder, or the guy who sets a good pick. They don't get a lot of they don't get the big pub, but they're the ones in the trenches winning the games for you. And Sean and the rest of his offensive linemen certainly have dominated that line of scrimmage.
Kick picked up by a retreating Vince Flamia, who then brings it back out to the 25-yard line and will get no further.
Yeah. Nice kickoff coverage, and that was one of their longest kickoffs that they've had. As we've said throughout the game, they've done that little short pooch kick, and one that actually looked like an onside kick, although I think that was a miss. I think they tried to do about the 20-yard pooch kick, and I think that's the area of concern. I think their kicking game, but boy, everything else, they're hitting on all the cylinders.
We've got 4 minutes to play left in this one. Hand off to De Silva, running over to the left side. He'll be able to gain a couple. And the clock continues to run. You can see that they're going with that wing T offense, and they're going to keep running it and running it and running it. And they've had a few successes. Flamia with a carry for 10 yards, Bain with a carry for 10. Also a gain of 17 for Bain.
Boy, and the crowd is over there going, let's go Cyclones, for about the last 30 seconds over there. That crowd, even though their team is getting beat 45-0, are still cheering for their squad. That's pretty cool.
And there's a pretty nice run by Flamia as he's able to sprawl across the 35-yard line and get that Cyclone first down.
Here we go again with that crowd. Thanks, got a good camera work there. Look at them go. Late in the game, final 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and they're cheering, they're rooting for their squad. And they made the long bus ride over and showing that school spirit. Very cool.
You can see you even got some face paint going on there in the front row.
Yeah.
They were able to make the drive down from Sarnia. Not a long drive. If you're not familiar with your Canadian geography, Sarnia right across the border from Port Huron on the other side of the Blue Water Bridge.
Well, talking to Coach Greenwood before the game, he has a lot of respect for the Marysville, Michigan football program and the coaches and everything that they do over there. And he has a lot of contact with them, had them over to a little 7-on-7 passing tournament along with Trinity prior to the season. And that's what he says. He says, I really try to pattern my program over, from the Marysville program and have a lot of connection with them. And that's not very far as well from Port Huron over to Marysville.
Got to look at some of those weary Trinity Catholic Lancers, and now St. Christopher will call a timeout. Stops the clock with 1:44. Marysville with a terrific football tradition.
Right. Yep, and that's what, he said we have a lot of contact. We did the little 7-on-7 tournament, and we meet with the coaches, as Coach Greenwood was saying, and so that's who he tries to pattern his program after, he says. But he says it's a very difficult thing, as we mentioned several times before. When you're living in the great country of Canada, you're fighting an awful lot of people that love hockey and, grow little hockey sons that just born with a hockey puck in your mouth, or something like that. And
and hockey in Canada, even more so than in the United States, is such a year-round activity,
right,
that you don't see the players who will play multiple sports. It's becoming a vanishing breed at all levels. You don't see the kids who play 3 and 4 sports a year like they used to, but you do see a lot more of that, I think, on the American side of the border than you even do in Canada. And I've always thought that there's something to be said for that, because there are certain things that you can learn in one sport that apply not only to other sports but to facets of life that you're really missing out on if you only play one.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Just the variety, and there's lots of great games and sports and play, and you should be open, obviously, to as many opportunities as possible.
Bain.
Boy, there's still a lot of hitting out there, JJ.
Running hard to the right side. And before we sign off, want to make sure that we give a hello to the principal at St. Christopher, Bob McKinley. Dave Greenwood said he gives us a lot of support, and sometimes that's difficult on the Canadian side. And Father Dave Blazik, the president of the administration over at Trinity. So takes an awful lot of good people to be able to make a successful program, from the players to the coaches and, of course, everyone that's part of that school organization.
Yes, he made a special note to have us say that, Coach Greenwood did, with Mr. McKinley. They're the principal. He said it's 100%. He's with us 100% and supports us all the way. And hey, you got to have that when you have your administrators behind you and helping out your program, doing what they can for you to support you. That's all good, and that's what it's all about.
Inside the final minute here at the Pontiac Silverdome. 4th down coming up for St. Christopher, and looks like they're going to go for it. Nothing to lose at this point. And they'll have, nope, they're going to punt it away.
Well, that might be an area he wants to work on. Get a nice punt, get the coverage, and do the whole number.
And then Gauze comes, forces Greenwood to spin around, and then finally punt it away. And that'll stop the clock with 8 seconds left.
Well, that was a great play by Chris Greenwood. It was a kind of a bad snap, and it was obvious that Gauze was going to come in and block that, and so he kind of sidestepped him and got the kick off, or got the punt off, and he was smart on that play, because that could have been a blocked punt that was been a return for a touchdown for him. So it was an outstanding play.
And they will just let the final 8 seconds expire, and that will allow Trinity Catholic to claim the victory by the final score of 45-0. George Sahady in the shorts there, able to claim the victory. The two squads coming out to shake hands at midfield. George Sahady in his 33rd season patrolling the sidelines. He's got a lot of victories, and there you get a look at George and Dave Greenwood. And a couple of coaches with a quick conversation, and they'll now go and try and improve things throughout the rest of their respective campaigns.
Well, good sportsmanship. You always love to see it, and the coaches have a lot of respect for each other. As we mentioned, they've had connections with that 7-7 tournament over in St. Christopher's that Trinity comes to, along with Marysville, and they've had 3 encounters now, and so they're coming together, and looks like for a prayer, and that's all good too.
They'll have the post-game prayer here. No injuries. Always give thanks for that on the first game of the season. Your final score, Trinity 45, Sarnia St. Christopher 0. They'll head back across the border, go back to Canada, and see if they can't come up with a few improvements to make as they head to their season. And then Trinity will get set for Catholic League play. Fine job by our entire crew here at the Pontiac Silverdome. Hope you enjoyed this presentation, the leadoff game in the 23rd Annual Prep Kickoff Classic here at the Pontiac Silverdome. For Dave Slaggert, my color man, and our entire crew here, we thank you for watching. Trinity wins 45-0 over Sarnia St. Christopher. We thank you for watching CTND.